What's up, everybody? Thrive Podcast out here, and I should just call it this Podcast Park because that's all I do here. It's Podcast Park, you know? And it's been a busy week business-wise for me. I've had, I don't know if I talked about this last week. Oh, I probably didn't because I told the dog story last week. Dude, in this park, I lost my dog. She ran away, did some crazy shit. Like, watch my last podcast if you haven't seen that one because I tell a good story. But freelance-wise, business-wise, I've been getting a lot more inquiries, dude. Just the people are starting to hear about your boy, you know? It's a long process though to go from, you know, getting a DM on Instagram or getting an email in my inbox that's like, you know, somebody asking how much do you charge for video editing, and obviously because, you know, that's the first thing people reach out with. And so I've got my standard response is just, you know, I charge, you know, insert current rate here to be an hourly rate for the first video or two, and we figure out how much effort it is from me to make one of your videos, and then we use what the total is from those hourly jobs to figure out a flat rate for the whole contract. And it takes a while to go from that back and forth email to getting footage actually sent and them signing a contract that's like, okay, we're going to send you some footage. You're going to edit it. This is exactly what we want. This is the product. I make the product. I give the product. They pay me. Like, there's steps between it, you know? So I've got a bunch of people lately have been knocking on your boy's door, but a few now are getting into the machine, you know, that is me making videos. And so we got some more files being fed into this machine here. So some more people are further along in the process, you know. So that's what's going on. What was going on in my brain that whole time was I watch myself all the time because I film myself for YouTube videos, and I edit them, right? So I see myself a lot, and I say I think I've done a decent job of cutting out like ums and likes. Okay, an all right job, but I noticed that what I say the most is you know. So that's where my brain goes when it's telling me to say it right now when there's nothing to say. So not only speech-wise am I trying to cut out ums and ahs, right? Right is another one. You know, there's nothing to say, so you just pepper in a like, an a right, you know. So I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying just to speak slower and think more. And that's what the podcast has been for me. It kind of let me, I've been learning to talk when there's nothing to say, or when like, and the only way to combat is to not think about it when it actually does happen. So whatever, if it happens, it happens. The only way to learn how to talk when the train has reached the end of the tracks and I have nothing more to say. That was one of the goals of me starting a podcast, just because I want to be better at talking. Because at the time, my job was a bartender, so I kind of would be able to get more and more reps at it. It'd be nice to be able to continue talking to people and continue engaging when people are there sitting at the bar, you know. But that's not my job anymore. Now my job is, you know what my job is. I edit videos. I make videos. Dude, I got my first sponsored YouTube video for NBA Top Shot. If you guys saw my video there, it's I don't know if I can talk about the deal. It's like it's more of an affiliate deal, and I got credit in the actual in the, I don't know if it's a game. Like, they gave me credit for their app to spend in the game, right? Which can obviously be exchanged for like real money if you get good stuff with it. But then there's like an affiliate program that I'm part of. So like if you buy something through my link, I get money, right? And not anyone can sign up for it. That's the program, I guess. But it's a cool fit. I think yeah, it was interesting it was interesting seeing an email in my inbox that was an actual, you a bunch of, you always get DMs from just Instagram accounts that are like, we are a clothing brand and we are looking to collab, right? But, an actual company sent me an email and it's like, you are who we're looking for. I was like, oh, little old Josh, that's cool. So it was cool to see the like includes paid promotion little YouTube tag thing on my video. I guess I could just click that, and because it's in the YouTube, in the uploader, it's one of the options is, does this video include a paid promotion? And you just click it. So I could just click that, but no, it was real. It actually did. So that's why you saw that little annotation in the bottom left corner of my video. So that was cool. So I hope that, obviously I hope I make a lot of money from that. That'd be cool. Yeah, because it actually like overlaps with the audience pretty well. So it feels like a legitimate, I'm not just advertising like Febreze or something, it's a basketball collecting product, right? Let's check the Discord, see if we have any messages from anybody. Oop. Sliding down the hand here. If you didn't know, you can influence this very podcast by asking questions. You can influence my very brain by asking questions in this, on our Discord server for podcast questions. There's a section for that. And nope, there's nothing. Bam. iPhone 12 coming out. I have the iPhone 8 Plus. It's been a while that I've had this phone. And I've always felt like, oh, it's a pretty new one. It's an iPhone 8 Plus, but at this point, I can definitely say this is an older iPhone. I have the button on the screen instead of the Face ID, and I still like the button because look at this. My phone's sitting right here on the table. You probably can't see it because of the frame, but I could be way over here, face not looking at the screen, and still unlock my phone and look at it and swipe around. So that's why I like the button. But, would I like 5G more? I think so. I think I like 5G. But 5G is only in like 10 cities or something, not very many. So it's like a future proofing thing, the iPhone 12, right? Yeah, guys, this another thing, let's pay some more bills, dude. This podcast is also brought to you just by consulting calls. I've been doing that for some people. If you are, a little bit, I'm not very far along in my entrepreneurial journey, right? But if you're just a little bit less far along and you need some, you have questions about like YouTube, SEO, editing, freelancing, getting clients, pitching clients and stuff. I do some consulting calls. There's a link for that in the description if you're interested. No pressure if you're not. But yeah, that's something that has been pretty cool to do lately as well. Out here in the park. Oh, the move. I haven't really talked about that in the podcast, I don't think. We're moving back to Wisconsin, the family. I had a video about that. Oh, I thought there was an animal moving under the table there, but it was just me kicking a rock. The family's moving back to Wisconsin. I don't know how I feel about it. I think I'm set to. I kind of go into it in depth in my video I made about it, but I'll kind of talk from a different angle about it, I guess. These parks are cool. They don't have like big, massive evergreen forests and stuff in Wisconsin. It's a little different geographically. What's it called? The environment, the ecosystem of life and trees and foliage and hills and mountains is different. But almost everything else is better. And it's just like from living in a big town, a big city. I mean, not necessarily that big of a city that I'll be living in, but this is like a small town in the middle of nowhere. Walmart is the biggest nicest business here to like get stuff from. And all my friends are back there, so I'm feeling good about that. And it's kind of making me question the whole like moving to California thing that I'm like pretty staunchly standing behind. But then I'm also thinking like, are people really? Is that just something I'm saying every once in a while, or do people really want me to do that? And obviously, like, I'm not gonna do stuff just because I think the audience like it puts pressure on me or whatever. But it makes me think about that, like some other like news related to that is my best friend who I was gonna be moving out there with is moving out of California, so it's like kind of just putting that in perspective. Like he was a big reason that I wanted to do that, and he's not gonna be there. And is it still as high of a priority on the life goal list? And I think so. I think it is. I definitely, there's the part of me that just thinks the Wisconsin move is like a step back, and it is geographically because I like this part of the country a lot better. I like, not necessarily like being in a small town in this part of the country, but I like that I like that there's no winter, and the temperate climate of the Pacific Northwest is pretty cool. It's a bit chilly, but it never gets to the point where I like can't breathe because it's so cold. And it's just like a big undertaking to move out here. I moved out here, right? We're going to move back. And if like one of my things I want to do in life is to move back out here, it's hard. Moving across the country is tough. So it's just another like point of resistance to that happening, And not to mention the fact that every single YouTuber, comedian, celebrity is like, this is why I'm leaving LA. Well, what my secret hope is that that like rent becomes cheaper because of all that. But just the way the laws are set up and the property and like residential building codes in LA, I know it forced the price of rent super high because there's just not enough space, So I doubt that people leaving, I doubt people are leaving in such mass that it's gonna really affect it at all. But all things I'm thinking about, yeah, and I'll still be thinking about like how soon I'm gonna move out. I've been living with my family, to kind of get out of debt, get my business off the ground, and I'm not out of debt yet. My business is not fully off the ground. I'm able to make enough money that I don't have to have a part-time job, but there's not so much pressure on me to make a certain amount. Like I do have to make a certain amount of money every month. It's like about $800 to like pay my car payment and student loans and the subscriptions that facilitate my whole enterprise, right? Adobe, the music services, stuff like that. And what was I saying? Yeah, but then like throwing rent onto it, all of my food and stuff, obviously about doubles it. So still being in the situation that I'm not out of debt and I still do have those bills I need, kind of is just like, well, I guess I'm still going to be living with my parents for a bit. Obviously it's going to be easier because rent in the Midwest is not going to be what it would be, obviously, in huge cities and especially LA, but it's still going to be a lot of pressure. And while stuff is picking up, like I seem to be doing better business-wise every month, I still don't know what the trajectory is exactly. It seems to be upwards. And, whoa, a little crackage. And, what was I saying? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm just kind of content to, like, live with my parents as long as it takes. I'm not in a rush to, if it was like I need to move out on my own immediately upon moving back, then, I don't know, I might jump on the wrong situation soon, or a little sooner than I should have, if I would have waited for a better situation to come along. And I've definitely been in that situation before. In college, it's always like, oh, we need to find a place by this time because all of the apartments turn over, and 2 of my roommates are leaving, so I need to find a place by this time. And if I don't, then, well, that's not an option because I have to find a place. So that I ended up in shitty places. I ended up in places more expensive than they should have been. So I'm looking forward to just kind of waiting for the right place to come along and not having to rush into that situation, But then, but it's still like there's so much, like I've moved so much in the past, 4 years, so that's gonna be shitty when I'll have to move again, But yeah, overall, dude, it's like my job's not very stressful. Well, it's not. I'm probably not making enough to like move out immediately. The situation that I am in, I definitely am making enough to pay my minimum bills and stuff and move the needle significantly, every month on that goal. So that's satisfying. Like I'm in a low stress situation that can be continued indefinitely. So it seems, unless YouTube or something shuts down. That's one thing. It's like my YouTube channel makes me money, and I make money facilitating other people's YouTube channels. So it's like, what's the common denominator is YouTube. So hope that sticks around, right? But yeah, I'm also thinking about just am I in a complacent space? I don't think so, because I'm kind of treating this time until the move as like just make as much as possible, so that you can just have some runway and maybe have a little chunk to take to move out with and start up another apartment. Takes a little bit. That's a bit of an upfront cost. Down payments, furniture that I don't have. I've got some furniture. I've got some stuff in storage at my sister's house back in Wisconsin for when I live alone again. But obviously, like couch and TV is not stuff I have. Just that initial like Target, Costco run to that you take when you move into a new place. Expensive. It's expensive. So the next few months until January, I'm just taking on as much work as I can, But I'm thinking like, yeah. So I guess that what I was saying is that's the reason I don't feel like complacent about it. I definitely could get to a place where I'm coasting and I'm good and I'm, thriving, because I say I'm thriving all the time, right? But maybe, the ceiling is higher. But I don't want to get to a point where it's like, oh, I'm good when I know that there's more to be done that's possible. But I don't think that place is close. There's definitely a lot in front of me that is yet to be done. That all the different little avenues that are that I'm like that are facilitating my career, right? If we can call it that. I've seen enough YouTube videos about business and online entrepreneurship to know like where the ceiling is with everything that I'm doing, and I'm not even close to any of it. So it's encouraging, but there's work ahead to be done. But I'm chilling. I get to come out here and talk to a microphone in the nice park for as long as it takes. There's no, dude, the no like time constraints or location restraint I've not taken for granted yet. It's so awesome that every once in a while a client's like, it'd be really cool to have this video by this time, and I'll wake up early and grind it out, but that's fine. It's definitely like, I don't know, it hasn't felt like, oh, I gotta clock in and do the job, which that that's awesome. That I even thinking about like, oh, I was just thinking about like, oh, I haven't taken that for granted yet, but then to like say that slowly and think about it just now was like, that is, I was taking it for granted 4 seconds ago. I didn't like realize how truly awesome it was and is. And yeah, dude, I'm glad that I fucking quit my job without notice and yeah, made that video. That's one of my favorite videos, that first moving to California video that I made after I quit my job, I was literally I was like sitting behind the bar, just having a shitty experience, thinking about making that video, you know, and the first scene, and hanging up the phone, and that song playing, and yeah. So I'm pumped. I'm pumped about my situation. I'm kind of in a loop. I'm just gonna keep saying it. I'm pumped about. I'm pumped. I'm chilling. We're good. I'm not really stressed too much, but there's work to be done. So we're back to that loop. So, with that, go watch one of my other videos, man, because this one is over. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace.